So I've heard lots of people talk about it, and I've heard tons of different ways to do it. My decision is going to be just to eliminate it. So in the cab, these things had a natural crease right here that was actually put together, spot welded and bolted back here. Mine is now one piece. I'll show you how I did it. Working on tetanus finally. Some other stuff been going on, kind of busy with that. I'm starting another channel, which I kind of, my original thoughts were that's what I was going to build was travel channel, so I've been kind of working on it a little bit. But I really need to get back out here and get on this because you guys deserve to see what's going on. Plus, I really need to get this truck done, and I really want to. This is my real love. So, tetanus has a ton of rust. We all know that, right? Well, as I kind of start to fix a little bit of it, and one of the major problems in this cab is you'll look right here. Yeah, that's rusted out all the way across it. That's a major issue. So, couple options. I can remake the back of this cab, or at least this top part right here, and replace this, and then remake this and weld it together. But what I have kind of decided is I'm going to make this one piece. I'm going to eliminate this seam and make a one-piece section. Now, this is my original try at this, and you can see I've still got some shaping to do. I got to get my hammer work and get this straightened up just a little bit, but I've got it up in there. The basic shape is all there. It's pretty good. It's actually pretty straight against it. A little bit of massage work, but all in all, it's good. I've also got this piece sitting right there. What I've got to do is get ready and make this one. Thought process right now is I get this one made, get it welded in place, then I can cut out the center, then we'll go inside after I get my final shape kind of massaged with the hammers, and I'll weld some tabs to it so I can bolt to the top of this cab to the interior. The majority of the cab is not too bad a shape. We're gonna have to replace a few things. Again, like I said, when you decide that you're gonna repair rust, but you're not gonna buy any rust repair panels, you're gonna make them yourself, things go a little slower. But they go a lot cheaper, and let's face it, they don't make this panel. You can't buy it. Only thing you can buy is for a 5-window one. I don't want that. These look so much better than the 5 windows, in my opinion. Leave me yours below. Tell me why I'm wrong. And when I'm done, I'll have a one-piece cab instead of this constant issue of rust. Let's see what it takes to build this corner, because it is kind of a pain. Let's go to the shop. So where we start is with just a flat piece of metal, and I had already started shrinking this a little bit, and you can kind of see this one side, it's already starting to bow a little. The problem is this goes around the corner and then twists to the side. So if I bend this straight, I've got a giant gap right here, and this side's touching. What I'm doing to take care of that is I'm shrinking this side, forming, and then I'll stretch this far side. You can kind of see my arrows between this area and this area and this area. But right now I've been shrinking this one. I'm going to shrink it a little bit more, and this thing should almost take some shape. We'll swap the dies out and we'll stretch this a little more, and hopefully when we put it over there, it'll be close enough we can start marking our beads exactly where they need to be and start forming a little. Right now, I'm going to swap my teeth out, and so now we'll start the same process again on this side, stretching it. So again, you can kind of see, but this is when we should start to see this thing kind of take shape this direction, I believe. Again, we're starting to see that shape. And it really kind of wants to flop in that direction. We'll go over and check it real quick. So as I roll it around this side and this side, they're still a little bit low. So continue to stretch this out, kind of push those on around a little more. And then we might have to put the shrinking dies back in and pull this back together. But I'm gonna do my best. Again, it just sort of kind of makes that loop much closer. You start to see it starting to make that shape. Form that thing right up. Now, again, I still have to make some movement here, and then I'll have to stretch both these, and give them some, or at least give this one some form. I'll have to give this one a little shape. I'll give it one more round of stretch. I'm gonna put the shrinking die back in, give it another round of shrink, and then we're gonna start to put some beads in this thing. Swap this back to a shrinker. So, just a quick touch, but I'm changing my dies back and forth. I bought a shrinker with a little deeper throat to it in order to do things like this. I also have, of course, the Harbor Freight that everybody has. It just does the edges. I think I'm just going to buy another one of these, and I might sell the Harbor Freight ones, or if I can find a place to mount them and just kind of have them for those quick here and there things, that's what I'll do. But right now, swap this thing out. And through the magic of video, I'm once again shrinking. So again, you can kind of see that shape. This thing's kind of got a little curve this way, it's got some curve that way. I start shrinking this. I think what'll happen is it'll flatten back out, but we will see. Yeah, so again, you can kind of see that's flattened out a little bit, and I think as I start to force this thing into shape, now we want to take some calipers or something, and I'll take that measurement and I'll give myself a nice scribe ring here and here, and we'll at least put a nice solid line right down the middle of these so I can tell exactly where I need to put my curve. So a quick thing, you can get some Daikin if you want. I don't have any right here on me, and I don't really want to spend any time looking for it, so I'm just going to paint this area with a Sharpie. Now this rough area is kind of a pain in the ass of it all, but all I want is to create, right here is I want to create a line even all the way around it. And I can take it over on the bead roller, then I can give it a little lift and kind of create a flange. Then we'll take and we'll determine how far from this point to this point we need to be. And again, I'll do that same thing. I'll measure down. We'll take our old junk calipers, lock them in place, and we'll scribe a line right here, and we'll do the same thing again with that bead roller. We'll just kind of give it a little crease right here, and then I can start creating my shape. So I went over, I said, and it doesn't matter, you're not measuring for these. All I did was take a comparison of what I already have, put them over there on it, put that comparison, and we'll put it right here on this edge. Now I've got a good scribe line that I'm going to take over there and put in my bead roller and just give this thing, again, I'm just going to kind of put it in the bead roller, give it a little up pressure, and create a flange along this edge. Probably need to create a sharper die for doing what I'm doing to do here, but this one works pretty well. It's still got a good solid edge, and I like it. Problem with doing this freehand is the fact that it still wants to push out, so you kind of have to push it in a little bit, and you got to really watch, really watch what you're doing as far as where your scribe line is. But I'm going to try and freehand this. If we get off a little bit, it's not a huge deal. A little bit of hammer work, run over it again, this time correct it, and it'll straighten itself back out. This steel is much more forgiving than you think. I used to think that once you put it to a certain level, you couldn't get it back, but I've kind of learned over the years that you can do anything you want to with it, and it's going to come back eventually. But we'll run this through. You kind of see my line right there. All right, I need glasses. Hopefully that lighting will do. Yeah, I think so. All right, so we're going to try and do this as slow as we can. Get down here where I can see it. All right, so once I get it started in, I'm going to start to lift this side up. So, looks pretty good right there. I'll go ahead and take now, I'll take my measurement. We'll make a mark on this one. I cut this out with a CNC, so I know these edges are pretty damn straight. So I'll take my measurement here and we'll mark right through there. Best way to do this, just a piece of paper. Some point in that paper, and I'm gonna put that right on this crease right here. All right, and I'll put a magnet there on it. Then pushing this against it the whole way, I'll put me a mark right there. All right, so that mark. So now I've got, that measures that radius, and then that flat. So I'll take my calipers now, I'll put them straight on this to here. I'll give myself a good mark. In fact, what I can do is actually put this right here, like so. Rip that paper right off there. All right. So now I've got this right up against it. See my mark, my paper there. There's my mark I made, just like that. And I'll take and put my calipers right against the top of that line, and we'll make that mark around it, and we'll come in here and we'll do the same thing again and make that same kind of a push up and give it a little bit of a flange look here. And then when I put this thing in the wheel, and we'll start rolling this, give this a little bit of shape. And then we'll take this, and look at that. Right to the top of that mark. And that gives me a great line right here. There's a little bit of play that's going to happen, and it's okay. This thing does not have to be exactly perfect when it goes right here. I will have to, again, you can kind of see there's a little flat mark in this one. I'll take something sharp, okay, and I'll just give this thing some taps around through there, and I'll work that in until that gives me the look exactly the way I want, rather than trying to make this perfect when I put it in. So there's a little massage work that I'm going to do along with it. I'm not good enough to make it perfect, and I know that, so I'm making it this way. Call me what you want. Have a drink. All right, we're going to do the same thing right here. Man, again, just a little twist there. Yeah, it's pushing you. Sorry. but I wasn't about to stop. Again, now you can kind of see, look on the inside, got that kind of, and I think I'll go over this one more time because that's pretty hard to get a good flange. This isn't bad, but this curved area makes it pretty hard. So back up a little this time so I don't hit you. Do it one more time. Not looking too bad there. Again, you can see that thing's flattened a whole lot out. And by putting these flanges in, that's what's kind of happened. What we've got to do is create our shape and then start to kind of make that shape, force this around into where it needs to be. So we'll see a lot of magic happen over on the English wheel. I think I'm going to use the smaller one. It's starting to storm outside and it's getting a little late. Wife may or may not be home. But I think most of my forming I'm going to try and do in the small wheel. For parts like this, it works pretty damn well. I know I said I was going to use the small one, but I think I'm going to start here. So we'll start on this one. We'll try and give it its major shape, and we'll fine tune with the smaller. And just starting to put a little bit of shape in it. That one's gonna be rough. I'll probably have to take it over to the planishing hammer and really get it. But what you do notice is look at the wrinkles going away. Let's take it over to the small one, see if it's a little better. So not a heavy roll there. Immediately see this thing start to take some form. Start to get these shapes in, I'll put it up there and we'll put some more of these wrinkles in and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Starting to get a little more shape to this. Putting it up on the cab. I'm gonna put it up here, and I need to take this drip edge off. I'm not gonna run it. You can see I got a little more depth to put in here. But when I put this in place, it's still not quite pulled up good. Now the bottom looks pretty close, but this needs to kind of fold in. So I'm going to do some more shrinking in this area, and I'm going to try and get up here a little more because that actually looks pretty straight. It's just not quite right. So I need to stretch from about, or shrink from here to here. Hopefully I won't screw this up too much, but I mean, if I do, so what? I just go over this again. I'm gonna try and get deep enough that I can put the shrinks in this, and then here. And it does flatten it out, but I still do have that little bit. Go over this one more time. Let's take it over here and see what we got again. Close, but you can see it doesn't quite fit up tight against it. So go just a little further up this direction and go over this whole thing one more time. So we're getting closer. You can see it's dropped there a little bit. There we go. That is pretty close. There's a little gap here, a little gap there, so that whole thing can go in. I think I need to define this one a little better and define this one a little better. And then maybe add a little stretch here to allow that to drop into place. Now the other problem is I might be touching on this. Now I don't have quite the shape that this has yet. So definitely got to rub this or work this some more. But I think my shrinking is done. Again, I may have to stretch this a bit, but I think I can stretch this with the planishing hammer over here. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and put the skateboard wheel on and just run over this seam and this seam and try and give it some more depth. All right, so got the skateboard wheel on. Again, just want to add some depth to this. See, it just gives it a little more definition to that. Do the same thing with this one. I'm going to go over this one. I'm going to tighten it down and go over that one again. So again, it starts to take a little more shape. We'll give that a couple turns, and we're going to get kind of mean with this one. That gives you a real nice solid line. So when I start shaping, you should see these start to pop a little better. Plus it does kind of firm that up a little. Again, may have to stretch that out just a little to get it to fit where I want. But right now I want to spend quite a bit of time adding some curve right here. So I'm going to go over here to the small wheel, probably put a little more aggressive curve here, and then try and put a flatter wheel on and do the whole thing. Alright, there we go. So, clean that edge up. Now I should be able to start this the way I really want to. What I kind of found is I want to put a little pressure here as I'm doing that to kind of wrap this side and leave the other side to kind of flop. And again, I'm not quite getting the curve I want, but that's a good start. So we're going to up the ante here a little bit. Go to a little more aggressive wheel.
Tall heels, black dress, breaking hearts, and you know it. But all the boys still think they've got a...
All right, getting a little more shape into that. Like I said, I'll probably go over and put a little shape into with my planishing hammer. That'll give me hit that a little bit and kind of push that where it goes. Plus the planishing hammer I can hold tighter to this corner. One needs to kick out. Plus I think that'll allow the whole thing to go in there. But let's get some planishing going on with it. Try and shape that out a little more up to the edges. Let's go over here and see what it looks like. All right, now so it's definitely going to have to be stretched out a bit, and that'll allow that to kind of pop up. Still got small gaps there and there. Alright. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to planish this. See if I can add a little shape. Plus give it a little bit more pressure. And maybe try and use that planishing to stretch this out a bit.
All these little things driving me crazy. I just wanna be free. All these feelings got me seeing hazy.
That also smooths that up pretty nicely. And I should be wearing something in my ears because that hurts. I'm not digging this, but I think I need to add a little shrink here. I'm trying to lift this thing up. So I'm going to add a little shrink, and then we'll come over here and planish this real good again, and then roll this back into shape, and we'll see what it fits like, because it's getting there. So I've got this pretty close, but this is still just not wanting to stretch out where I want it, so I'm going to have to put the stretching dies back on. Give this section a little bit of looseness so it'll kind of pop back down in there where I want it, and then we'll flatten it back out. But all in all, I've got a pretty solid shape on the whole thing. Yeah, so I'm going to actually have to go in and give this piece a little more, but it's pretty close right there. Looks like I missed a little. Might have to cheat just a bit. Now this one might be a little wider than the other. Not a big deal. I can cheat that around. I can kind of stretch this out, and then I'll kind of do my thing there. If I need to, I can flatten this section out and just move my upper down just a touch. That'll be the easiest route. But we'll put the shrinking dies back in, and we're gonna, or the stretching dies in, and we're gonna stretch this section out some more. All right. Again, now I've got that stretched out. I need to move this seam down just a little bit, so I'll flatten that out. And we'll fade that in. When it gets around this corner a little wider, it kind of looks that way anyway, so that should blend good. And this seems to match up good, so I've just missed this corner for some reason. Need to add some shape into this. And then we'll put this thing up there and see. Maybe we can get to a point where we can weld this in. So I've got my piece here looking pretty good. It's enough that it's kind of hitting on the backside. And again, as I start to put this together, might need a little more shape there, but I'm not going to worry too much with it. As long as it looks close. I don't have to be 100%. This isn't a restoration, this is a imagining. So as I start to look at it, and I start to put this together, we'll start like that right there. But this is holding it out. So I want to go ahead and at least rough that in. You can see I've marked it off. I'll get the old wheel of death. And I will wear these bad boys for you guys, because I know some of you love them. I don't want to go up right up to this line. Matter of fact, I'm going to drop down just enough to cut out the shape. Laid my screwdriver down. Beautiful. Straighten this up a little so I can get me a nice edge on this one. Not too bad off right there. This, and then this one is down through there. Got a little opening, a little more crack than I should have right there, but still not an issue to weld up. I'm gonna put this flat against here like this. I'm gonna bring it in where it touches. I'm gonna find a spot right here. It's perfectly lined up. I'm just going to tack that thing right there in place, and that should freeze it, and do the same thing down here at the bottom. And then I'll do a little hammer work and weld some more. There we go. 2 little tacks and just one to hold it, because I need to cut this so that it lines up. I can push this back a little bit until these are completely straight. So right there I've got one that's straight, and right there is straight. Might have to do a little bit of hammer work here to get that one just the way I want it. But no matter how, I need to go ahead and cut this. So I want to cut the top one, get it all welded in. Then I'm going to cut the bottom one so far. I think I might even be able to maybe get some type of clamp or something on this one. Right now, I need to go get some glasses because I can't see shit. All right, so definitely got some hammer work to do. It's okay, it's all there. It's all one piece. Got this piece ready to go in there. Other side's welded up. Again, just gotta grind this on, grind my welds down a little bit. There it is. I mean, this is now a one-piece cab. Again, I've got these holes. What I'll probably do is put a thread cert in, crimp them into place, and weld a tab here to hold my cab in place. But now I've got, you know, I don't have this seam that these have anymore. Is it perfect? Absolutely not, guys. I'm not that good. But I'm good enough to show you that it's doable with a give a shit. It's the attitude that you can do it and you can get this done. So as I put this together and I start doing a little hammer work and I start to turn this into something, yeah, it's gonna be really cool. Will it take a little Bondo? Yeah, probably. Will it take a lot of Bondo? Nope. No, not at all. Matter of fact, it will probably be much less than a quarter inch for most of it once the hammer work's done. But if anybody saw this rusty old cab and told me that it would be at this point right now, I'd tell them they were crazy. It's amazing what you can do when you give a shit, guys. I'm happy. But check it out. One piece, that's the right way to do it. And again, you're never gonna get a good looking weld with these. I mean, you're tacking everything together, but you can kind of see it's all one piece. This one actually looks a lot better than the other one. This is the first one I did. And then when I put this one here and go between them, oh, it really truly matches the door better than the factory seam, which I kind of think is cool. The fact that I can manipulate that to the point that it's going to get a very good seam. I'm excited about it. Am I great? No. Am I good? Not even. But I'm doing shit that you're scared to do. So get out there and try a little harder. Catch up. And hey, you know what? Do this. Do this for me. Get down in the comments and tell me how bad I did. Tell me how horrible a job this is and how you could do better. Oh, and then subscribe and hit the notification bell. And every time I do something, you can continue to tell me that I'm not doing it right. And you know what? I don't care. I'll be driving a goddamn old truck that's really cool, and you'll be online wishing you could. Guys, to those of you who got something out of this, please give me a subscribe, hit that notification bell, and those who make fun of it, I don't give a shit. Bring it on. I love to hear the bitching too.